Hi, and welcome to the video course for CompTIA's A+, the 901 certification exam. My name is Patrick Lohner, and I'll be your instructor on this course. Let's start with a little bit about my background. I've been in the IT industry for just a little over 16 years. I got started at a training center, and one of the first classes I ever taught way back in 2000 was A+, you guessed it. Since then, I've been involved with just about anything you can think of. Lots of Microsoft products, clients and servers, Active Directory, Exchange. For the first 5 or 6 years, I did do a lot of support. So I did both hardware and software support. It was within a training organization, so I was not, dedicated to being help desk. I was actually doing instruction and then kind of on the side, doing PC repairs, doing software repairs. I've followed the CompTIA lines of certification through every version, and I've been involved with all the components that they talk about in the objectives, in hands-on working as well as training. So I feel confident that we can get through this course together and get you ready for the certification. So what are we going to talk about in this course? Well, CompTIA has gone back to a division of hardware and software. This was not always the case. There was a couple revisions in there that were a little bit different, but they're back to the hardware and software distinction. So this course is really just going to focus primarily on hardware. Now, there's sometimes you can't avoid talking about software because you need software to control the hardware, but we really are going to shy away from things like operating systems, security, troubleshooting software, and we're going to focus on hardware. So we'll start with an intro to personal computers, just some of the basic concepts that you need. We'll also talk about some of the importance and steps you can take to getting certified for A+ and moving forward. Then we're going to focus on internal hardware components, things like the motherboard, CPU, memory. We'll shift over to hard drives. That's another internal hardware component that is used for permanent storage. And then every system you have is not always going to have everything that you need. So we need expansion capabilities. So we'll start with the different expansion technologies and the different types of expansion cards that you can install to, as the name implies, expand the capabilities of the computer. And then the whole reason for installing an expansion card is so that you can plug something into the computer that didn't exist before, and we call those components peripheral devices. There are numerous peripheral devices that fall into basic categories of input and output devices. So mice, keyboards, and a whole slew of others, and then monitors and printers. CompTIA has really upped their focus on mobile devices. It's one of the biggest additions to this version of the certification exam. So we're going to have a chapter on laptops, but also on smartphones and tablets and a whole gang of other devices that sometimes are useful, sometimes they're kind of fringe devices. We'll spend some time looking at network fundamentals. We all have to deal with computers on computer networks. And so this is a major objective on the A+ exam. You've got to know the basic components that are required to connect to the network, the specifics about protocols, configuration of wireless networks, etc. And then the last major objective on the 901 exam is troubleshooting hardware and software. So we'll go through all the components that we will have learned about at that point in the course and talk about various symptoms, possible causes, as well as troubleshooting models that help you efficiently become a problem solver. Okay, so I'm excited and ready to go. We've got a lot to talk about, so without further ado, let's get started.